Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel, The World View. I'm so glad to be here with you, and I hope all is well with you wherever you're joining or wherever you'll be watching from. God bless you. This is a discussion that we have been having on single parenting. So we're going to continue with that. So somehow I just kind of thought about, came to my heart like, oh, wow, talk about somebody that was a single parent in the Bible. Like, okay, Lord. And here we are. We're going to talk about Hagar. How Hagar, Hagar became a single parent and all that kind of surround her. We're not going to dig deep into it. We're just going to summarize it and then go to some point that I want to talk about today. We know Hagar was a slave given to Abraham in the process of his journey with Sarah. And she was living with Sarah as a maid or as a slave. And Sarah can, I believe, with all the other slaves and that were given to them, all the other ladies that were helping her home, Sarah kind of like Hagar. She's been waiting to have her own child. Nothing has happened, and God hasn't answered them yet. I believe, like we all do, sometimes we become impatient. She became impatient in a way, and then asked her husband to have children through Hagar. And then here we go, Genesis chapter 16. Well, before Genesis chapter 16, the husband before where I want to read from Genesis chapter 16, Hagar agreed, Sarah agreed, Abraham agreed, and then she she became conceived. Then at a point, she began to despise her mistress because now she's the woman of the house, kind of. You couldn't have a child now. I'm pregnant, or you couldn't have a child now. I am the lady of the house now. Like I am the one that he's running after, kind of a thing. So Sarah was very disappointed, unhappy, and then wanted her gone completely. Just go. Um, then she reported to her husband, Abraham. Abram at that point, sorry, Abram at that point. He says, so Abram said to Sarai, indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please. And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. So she ran away because she couldn't bear the way Sarai was dealing with her. So she ran away. This is Genesis chapter 16. I just read verse 6. She ran away. And then now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring of the way to shore. And she said to Hagar, Sarah's maid, where have you come from? And where are you going? Sometimes God asks us questions that are just, he knows the answer. Yes, God was using the angel to minister to her and give her direction. But it look as if God said, I don't know what you're doing. Where are you? Where were you? You're supposed to be somewhere. You're somewhere else. What's going on? And he knows everything. Thank you, Father. And here we go. She said, I'm fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. Then the angel of the Lord said to her, I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they will not be counted for multitude. So she had a promise. Verse 11, and the angel of the Lord said to her, behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction, and he shall be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand shall be against him. And the angel continued. So Sarah Sarai, slave, had an encounter with God in the wilderness. Now she's gone back home to be submissive to her mistress. Then, when you go to chapter 17 of Genesis, um, the Lord came to Abraham for the covenant of circumcision. Then, chapter 18, it comes to remind Abraham, I'm going to give you your own child. And Abraham is trying to talk about Ishmael. Said, no, no, no. Sarah, your wife, is going to have a child. Sarah is going to have a child. Chapter 17, covenant of circumcision. Abraham reminded God. Chapter 18, God came and promised Abraham. Then we come to a place where Sarah, we never heard of Hagar being disobedient again, because she's become obedient to the direction that God brought to her through the angel. In chapter 21, we find that Isaac is born. Isaac is born, oh my world, that's the promised child, so much joy in the house. I also believe to some point it depends on how the party and the feast was done. Maybe Hagar might feel like, that wasn't done for me, kind of a thing. And now Sarah has to be, very happy. She has to be in that position of, okay, I have mine now, And then we're told that in that chapter that after the feast that they had for Isaac, that Ishmael was mocking Isaac, and Sarah heard it. And Sarah said, okay, I'm done. You are going now. You and your mother, you're going to leave my house. I'm not sure if that was the first time that Ishmael was mocking Isaac, or we're not told. So a time came, Sarah went to Abraham now, and I told Abraham, now they have to go. Abraham was a bit reluctant because it's his child. But the Lord said, let them go. So they left. Now, Sarah has become more comfortable in her house. Yeah. Hagar and the son have just left to maybe to the unknown. Yeah. To the unknown, because they don't have any other way or where else to go, but they have to find a way for themselves as time went on. Hallelujah. And here we find out that God has made a way for Hagar. God was going to watch over Hagar. Yeah. God was going to watch over Hagar. Let's read quickly from chapter 21 of Genesis. I've just explained what happened. So we're going to see how God intervened for Hagar. Yeah. Verse 15. Let's just look at what they were taking away with them. Verse 14. So Abraham got up early in the morning and took bread and skin of water and gave them to Hagar, putting them on her shoulder, and gave her the boy and sent her away. Yeah. And she left and wandered in the wilderness of Bathsheba. So she left. She wandered aimlessly, lost of ways, because she doesn't know where she's going, what's going to happen to her. And that's what happens sometimes when it comes to single parenting. You've decided, okay, I'm going to live with this person, whatever the reason is, and then everything fall apart. You just find yourself in a place like in the wilderness, thinking, what happened to me? What's going on? How am I going to look after myself? How am I going to look after this child? So it becomes a big burden on that person's shoulder. When we look at, well, let me just read. We're going to look at some points that brought them to this place. Then I'm going to verse 15. When the water in the skin was all gone, Hagar abandoned the boy under one of the bushes. So the water was finished. So he just abandoned the boy. I don't know what to do. I have nothing to offer you. I don't want to see you die. Let me just leave you there. Then she went and sat down opposite him, about a bow shot away, for she said, "Do not let me see the boy die." So her heart must have been very, broken, frustrated, you know, just feel hopeless completely. And as she sat down opposite him, she raised her voice and wept. God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy from where he is. Get up, help the boy up, and hold him by the hand, for I will make him a great nation." And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the empty skin with water and gave the boy to drink. God was with Ishmael, and he grew up and developed, and he lived in the wilderness and became an archer. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. That's the life of Hagar. Hagar became a single parent. You know, she go to the wilderness, the water was gone. They have nothing else. Frustrated, disappointment, in pain, crying, she left the boy under the tree, under the like a bush area, and just said, "Okay, I'm gonna watch. I don't want to watch me die because I can see that's the end of this now. That's gonna end this life for both of us because we don't have anywhere to go. You know, I can hang on for another few couple of days or weeks or whatever. You're a child, you can't hang on." You know, so she knew what was going to be the end of it, but she didn't know that that same God that made her when she first ran away, his eyes was still with her. God is so faithful. She was a product of self. I don't know what do we. It was she was a product, or the child that came out of her was a product of self fulfillment of God promise. They were trying to fulfill God promise on their own. Yeah, so she became the scapegoat, or she became the victim of this. So let's look and say, okay, perhaps she became rude and not submissive, like the angel told her, go and submit yourself. So that her behavior contributed to the problem she faced. You know, her behavior contributed to it. Then on the other hand, after she became submissive and worked with them in the house, the child became a problem because they said the child mocked Isaac. Perhaps if she had warned the child not to do so. So that also contributed to their problem. That brings me to when it comes to relationship or to marriage. Sometimes some of the things we say, some of the things we do can contribute to it. It might be very little, but it can contribute to some of the things that leads to this single parenting. Yeah. Lead to separation, divorce, or whatever. So we have to be careful. So she has left, but thank God that God was still with her. Today, we could see some people, they find themselves in that position where somebody give them to another man and say, "Oh, you know, this man is good, marry this man," and before they find out that they were not compatible or something happened, she's already have a child. Some people, like you hear, uh, uh, sex trafficking or whatever, they bring them to other countries, or they introduce them to someone, they take the money, that person is the one that found themselves pregnant with a child. And they just feel, okay, I don't want to do anything to this child. They have to care for that child themselves. So we need to watch out the people that we connect to. You know, she was actually like a surrogate, you know, today. Some people find themselves, they want to have a child for somebody that asked them to. Then at the point, that person changed their mind, but they're already pregnant, 5, 7 months pregnant. They can't do anything, they have to keep that child. You know, so people in different reasons that become single parents, you know, but that of Hagar, some of the behavior that came with her being mother to Ishmael contributed to their living. And it's possible the child observed some things, Ishmael observed some things in the house that made him feel comfortable to mock Isaac, that it was okay to mock Isaac. And Sarah wasn't going to go for that. God is always with you wherever you find yourself. The angel came and ask her what is going. God always. I think God always wants to ask, "What is going on? Tell me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from your own mouth. Tell me what is going on." Because twice we see angel appear to Ishmael's mother Hagar, and he asked question. The first one said, "Where are you? Where are you going? What's going on? Tell me." And then here we also see that the angel as well came and was asking her, "What's your trouble, Hagar? What's going on, Hagar? What troubles you?" And he said it's in the presence of God. So God knew. And the word he said, "Do not be afraid, for God has held the voice of the boy." Oh my word. Not the voice of the mother, but the voice of the boy. Yeah. God is so, so, so good. So even if he doesn't hear your own prayer, you think he doesn't hear your prayer, know that he will hear the prayer of your children. He will hear the prayer of your children or of your child. Because God is merciful, He's gracious. He will make a way. He will make a way for you. So being a single parent, it's not something that God frown at and say, "Oh, because you're a single parent, you are just no, no, no. I don't have no." God is not angry with you. God doesn't hate you. What you're going through, the challenges, is not because you've done something wrong. God is allowing it to happen. Sometimes what happens in our lives, some of the choices we make, we go through some circumstances that are not comfortable or convenient. God is still there for you. God is still there to help you. God is still there to make his name glorious in your life and in the life of your children. If you think he's not hearing your prayer, he's hearing the prayer of your child or your children. So turn to him, trust him, because he's faithful. He's faithful. But we have to watch our behavior. We have to also watch the behavior of our children. So that even if you're in a marriage or you're a blended family, you are able to still work together. I'm going to be talking more on all of this. So we're going to discuss this. That if you're in a blended family, be sure that both family agree, because this was almost like a blended family now, but that it didn't work out. It didn't work out because one part of the family was not cooperating with the other part of the family. With the family, they met there. There was like a blended family. So if you're coming in, you have to blend. Both of you have to come to agreement on how to put it together. Not just one person say it has to be my way, my way, my way. No, it has to be comfortable for both parties that are involved in the relationship. And then the children have to be taught to respect one another so that it could work for the new relationship. So that it could work for the new relationship. So we're seeing here that for it to work for the new relationship, both parties had to come in agreement. Both parties have an agreement, compromise, teach the children to honor the one that is just coming in or the one that has been there before. The children that you met there, honor them. The one that are coming, you honor this one that are coming. You that is coming, honor the one that you're meeting in this family. It has to be so. Otherwise, there's going to be problem like Hagar just had with Sarah. Sarah was the wife. Sarah was the God's chosen one. Sarah was the one that God has protected. It showed you how much God has been with Sarah in this marriage to Abraham that became Abraham. So God has always been with her. You remember when anyway, Abimelech, how God protected her, that she was not touched. All the kings, the people that she met, how God was watching over her. God said to Abraham, even when Abraham said, "Oh, bless my son Ishmael," God said, "I know, I'll bless him, but you're still going to have your child, and his name is going to be Isaac." Down the line, God came to visit and was asking, "Where is Sarah?" By this time next year, Sarah is going to have a child. So Sarah was the ordained one, if I could put it that way, stamped one, agreed with God. She was the wife that God has already said yes to for Abraham, you know. And Hagar came in and just thought she could just push her aside or bully her out of the way or whatever. And that wasn't going to work. Even God said to Abraham, "Listen to Sarah, let her go." Then in the mornings, Abraham sent them away. Could have been a heavy heart for him, but he has to obey God. So if you're in a blended family or before you get into it, be sure that both of you come in agreement to honor one another, to respect each other, children that are coming to come together. And don't put one above the other or don't put the other above. I mean, do your best to work it out so that you can have a peaceful home, you know. So the blended family didn't work for this family. So she became a single parent. So that happens. If it doesn't work, we become a single parent. But sometimes it's just the way the structure was put together. There was no proper structure, or one person felt their own child was more special than the other, or this other one. I will listen to this. I am the one that is more special in this relationship. So my should be the one to be more pampered. Every other one. No, if you don't work together to put it as one, you could just have a family where everybody mind their business. Okay, you deal with your children since you say you want to deal with them yourself. I deal with mine myself as I want to deal with mine. And they can live that way so that there's peace. The husband and the wife can still be very good relationship, but when you come to the children, everybody deal with it their own way. That's how they want it so that they can have peace. That also can work for some family. So I just want to leave that with you, that you think about it and meditate on it so you're able to make the right choice in order to avoid being a single parent. Being a single parent, if you find yourself, it's not the end of the world. For you, it might not be bad, it might be the best thing that happened. Because if you, I don't even want to go into the abusive aspect of relationship. You are being abused, it's better for you to separate yourself with your children so you're at peace and not go die before your time. Yeah, so that also is a part of it. And then so that you can have life and be able to be there for the children to grow and become mature people and be responsible people to the society. God bless you. So today we're just going to end up on this. Take this and think on it, knowing that Hagar's life did not end completely. The Bible tells us that Hagar gave a wife to Ishmael. So Ishmael became a man. The promises of God was already in his life. So he a married man. Became a married man. What happened to her mother did not happen to him. Sometimes they say, well, because it happened to your mom or your dad, it must not. It doesn't work for everybody that way. But God intervened, and his life became different from that of his mother. You know, his mother was in his life, I believe, maybe for the rest of her life, because we were not told that she got married again. God will always come true. God will always come true, but we have to watch our behavior and our structure and the way we want to allow the relationship to work. At the same time, whatever best work for you, work with that structure. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and uh, um, click the button so that when next we are on, you're able to just be notified. God bless you and have a special, special, special day.